Hi YouTube, M6CB back again with another video. Today we're at Wayne G0 HIJ shack, so big thank you to Wayne for letting me use his equipment today. So this is going to be part 2 in a series on the Ailunce HS1 SDR HF radio. I've also done a full written review on this radio, so the link will be in the description, so check that out. Loads of detailed pictures and stuff as well on there. And big thank you to Retevis for sending me this radio. You can buy this radio for $499, link will be in the description. About a week ago I did a first impressions video on the Ailunce HS1 that Retevis kindly sent me, so big shout out to Retevis as well. So today we're going to have a bit more of a closer look. I'm very new into HF, so I decided to do this as more of a series of videos, so you can sort of learn with me as we go along. This is my first ever HF radio, so together we'll be able to learn loads of new stuff about it. I'm completely brand new into HF. I'm going to be installing a half-size G5 RV at home in the loft. Not ideal, but should get me on HF. I'm going to be doing videos on FT8 and loads of cool stuff, so stay tuned for that. So without further ado, let's begin. Right, so let's have a quick look at the radio now. So we'll have a quick close-up of it. As you said, I did my first impression review. So check that out if you haven't checked it out already. I went over the radio there and I looked at it in sort of a quick look. So now we're going to have a bit more of an a closer look at the radio. So as you noticed, I might have put these side bits on it. These weren't on the first impression review. Spoke to K6 UDA Bob. Check his channel, I'll put it in the description. I spoke to him on air after I'd done the first impression video, and he had watched the video and he didn't know that this radio existed, and he was mentioning these buttons, these dials on the front of the radio, how fragile they could possibly be if he was taking them in a bag, taking them portable, how these might break. So I told Bob that these little side parts I hadn't put on the radio, which seemed to protect the knobs on the radio, so that should be alright. So if you do take this out portable, put it in a bag, hopefully those brackets should protect those knobs a little bit there. So yeah, and they're quite sturdy. Me and Wayne have just fitted those now. They're quite sturdy, so they give you the longer screws, so it's just a case of putting a screwdriver on it and swapping it over, and that's fine. So let's have a quick closer look now. So yeah, we've got a nice VFO knob here. It's not bad. I mean, if you've had a Yaesu or a Kenwood, it's nowhere near as nice as that, but it's not bad at all. It's quite nice really. We've got these which have got a nice notched feel to these knobs here, so these are quite good, and these are also pressed knobs as well. I didn't notice that on the first impression. So obviously we've got to change your band up here, and then obviously the tuning step here. You got the RIT and all the bits and pieces. A lot of these have dual purposes, like on most sort of Ailunce radio or DMR radios, you know, that I've reviewed in the past. They usually have a dual purpose, and these are sort of, you can go through the menus and bits and pieces with these. So the buttons themselves are really nice, really clicky, really responsive. I've not really had any issues with misclicks or anything like that. That, you know, they seem to do what they say on the tin, so they're really nice. I like this flap at the back, so you can stand it up, so like that, and we also have it perforated there. So obviously the speakers here, we have tested the speaker today. It's very tinny, so it is quite a tinny speaker, but you can adjust the bass and treble in the menu, so maybe you can get it to sound good. We did try it on an external speaker, a BHI digital speaker, which is a really good speaker, but and we tried it in the phone socket on the side, but it really didn't sound well at all. So I'm not sure if there's a setting on the menu that I've missed somewhere which would make it sound a little bit nicer. We tried it on another Kenwood speaker, but that wasn't it didn't sound any better on there, so it's definitely something with this, but as I say, it could be a menu there that I've not set properly. But yeah, really nice metal bodied radio. I mean, it's got a couple of scuffs on it, so it seems like it'd take quite a bit of a beating if you was to take it out portable. As I say, this would be brilliant for SOTA, WOTA, that kind of thing. You know, if you took it up a mountain, it's quite small and portable. So really good there. I've read as well, been reading up on the manual, it will run as low as sort of 10 volts. It seems to run that sort of low on power, so if you're running on a battery you should be alright. But as I say, I've not tested that out yet. On the side here we've got a proper USB port. Now I've read somewhere that this in the future you can do firmware upgrades via this port. You do it at the moment here. I don't think there's any firmware at the moment. I've checked the Retevis website, there's no firmware there at the moment, but they say in the future you should be able to use this port for firmware updates and that kind of thing, or keyboards and mice, that kind of thing. Obviously it's an SDR radio, so maybe that's something you can use in the future, so that would be really good. BNC port on there. They do supply you a BNC to SO239 adapter. The one I had in the box had a bit of a dicky connection in it, but I have got another one, so I've tried that out and it works no problem at all. On this side we've got the DC power in, we've got the key for a Morse key, so you can use a Morse key with this, that's really good. Line in, line out, you put your microphone in here, we'll have a look at that in a second, and ACC I'm not sure, and that's where you can put your external speaker or headphones, that kind of thing. But at the moment it sounds a bit ropey, so maybe that's a setting that I've missed there. So we'll have a quick look now, let's just put it on the stand. So I'll put it like that, let's just have a quick look at the microphone. So the microphone for this radio is quite basic really. I mean, for the price of the radio I would have expected maybe a little bit of a nicer microphone. It is a bit on the cheap side. As I say, I've not made a contact with this yet, so I'm not sure if it's going to be any good or not, but you know, I'm sure it'll be fine. I've got an Ailunce microphone for my HD1 that's a lot nicer feeling than this one, but it's still fine, there's no problem at all, with a 3.5mm jack on the end, so we'll try that out at some point. As I say, this is going to be a series of videos, so we're going to be doing lots of different tests and stuff, so we'll just put that in there like now, so we'll put it in the microphone socket, so we'll just put that across there for a second, and then we will put the DC power in. So on the other end you can just connect this to your 12 volt power supply or battery. We'll just pop that in there, and then we'll put our antenna on. We're using Wayne's beam, so it's connected to the beam at the moment, so hopefully we will hear something out of it, hopefully. Let's have a try. So let's turn it on. As you might have seen on the first impression video, really nice display on this radio, so we'll turn it on now and have a look. You can probably see it. Let me just get the light out of the video. There you go, that's not too bad. Yep, starting up. Now there was a station talking on this earlier, so whether he's still there or not I'm not sure, but you can see the waterfall display here, and you can see, I'm not sure, the magnifying there, it's at 8 times at the moment, and this can be changed to however you like it. So obviously we can see a bit of more activity a bit further up, so we'll see if we can find anything.
Good luck to you. No problem. I sent my card quite a bureau. Good luck.
It's not bad, that speaker now, really, is it? It's not too bad. So the audio, well, it wasn't so bad then. The speaker's not the best I've ever heard, but it's not too bad. It was quite good on that one really. One thing I wanted to point out as well is this radio is I've had a few questions about this. This radio originated as what they call an MCHF by M0NKA, I think it was. I'll double check that, but he made this radio as a kit, so he sort of came up with the idea and sold it as a kit. Now obviously as a foundation license holder we can't use kits radios. We're not allowed to transmit using them. We have to use commercially bought equipment. So Ailunce has obviously manufactured this radio, so as a foundation license holder I'm fully licensed to be able to use this, whereas the MCHF kit I wouldn't be able to use because obviously it's a kit. So that's, I don't know whether they've come up with, obviously they call this a clone. I'm not sure whether it is a clone or whether Ailunce have got some sort of deal with them. I'm really not sure. So obviously, you know, I'm really not sure on that really. But it's a really nice radio, and as I say, as a foundation license holder, without Ailunce coming up with this radio, I wouldn't have been able to use the radio at all, you know, the MCHF version. So yeah, just wanted to point that out really. We're going to do another video at Wayne's house as well. So that'll be the next video where we're going to do the power test on this radio. This radio is supposed to do 15 watts high power, so we're going to test that out as well, so stay tuned for that. The manual for this radio, it comes with like a quick start guide, so I'll just have a quick look at that now and just show you. It's only a piece of A4 paper, You probably can't, you might be able to see that, but it's just a very quick start guide, and the main manual is available on the Retevis website, so I'll leave a link on the description where you can get that. So obviously if I'm not explaining some of the things that you want to find out about this radio, check the link out in the description, download the manual for yourself and have a look there, and you can see some of the features that it does and see if it's the right radio for you. So one of the things I did notice is that you can see the split button here. When you press the split button, so if it's not coming up on the screen, I apologise. As I say, I'll be doing loads of videos on this radio, but you can use it as if there was a repeater, so you can transmit on one frequency and receive on another. So that's a really cool feature. I didn't know that. It's something I've learned that's quite new. But the filters in this radio, it's got a noise reduction filter, a notch filter, and then you can use noise reduction and notch both together. So those are currently it's set to off, as you can see on the display. This radio as well, it can work with Ham Radio Deluxe and WSJTX software for FT8 and that kind of thing. So I've double checked that. I've tried Ham Radio Deluxe at home and the WSJTX software, and it works absolutely perfectly. When you set this radio up, you want to set this radio as a Yaesu FT817, and it works absolutely perfectly, no problem at all. So as I said in my first impression video, this will do 3DV. You can see 3DV there. So we've got the mode, so this changes your mode, obviously AM, FM, 3DV, USB, so we're going to use it in USB now. DSP is digital signal processing, so we've got that's where I was saying earlier, noise reduction only, notch, and noise reduction and notch. So yeah, that's what it's doing there. So we got PA, we can change the power level, so it seems to do half a watt, obviously full power 15 watts, and then it'll do 5 watts, 2 watts, 1 watt and half a watt. As I say, I'll do a video doing a power test on the next video, so you can see how this does on power. This here is the RIT, so you can use the knob there to change the just get it out so you can see the screen. So you can change the RIT there, so we'll get back down to 0. If you press that again, this is the mic gain here, so you can change that. As I said, this is a very menu driven radio, so a lot of this is just menu driven. So yeah, you just change the mic gain like that and then put it back to RIT, and this one is the RF gain, I think, yeah, and then NB is noise blanker. There we go. The bass and the treble, you can adjust that. You know, when I said the speaker was quite tinny, you can adjust the bass and the treble here. Just cycle through the options there. So a lot of these buttons you press and then you press again to get a different option. So another thing I wanted to mention was on the first impression video is this tune button here. Now I thought this might have possibly had an ATU in it, but it doesn't. What it does is when you press this, it puts a carrier on in the radio, so that you can then adjust your separate ATU to bring your SWR down. Now it has an SWR meter in this radio as well. As you can see, the power level, the power meter at the top, you can press this and then it changes to SWR. So when you press tune, it'll put a carrier, and then you can adjust your ATU and watch your SWR come down. Now how accurate that SWR meter is, I'm really not sure. That's something that maybe I can test in future videos. As I say, I'm going to do loads and loads of videos with this radio. I'm totally new to HF, so I really don't know a lot about this at all. So I'm sorry it's not a technical review, but it's completely new to me, and I'm trying to learn as we go along. So the more I learn, the more I'll share with you, and as I say, I'll just keep making videos. I'm especially interested in the FT8, FT4, which is brand new, so I'll be doing lots of videos on that shortly as well. One thing as well you can do with this radio is you can adjust the brightness of the screen by short pressing the power button. So I don't know if it's coming through on the video, let me just make sure it is. You can see it just altering the brightness there. So you can do that with a short press of the power button. You can also lock the VFO by double holding the step up and down together. If you press them together, it locks, and you can see that the display frequency's been greyed out, so that you can't change it. And then you can press and hold them again, and it comes back. So that's a nice little feature as well. Right, so I was saying to Wayne then, he's got the Icon Pro 3, and you can change a lot of the way that the display looks on that radio. I mean, I don't know if you can do that with this radio or not. As I say, this has got lots of menus on this radio, but I've really stayed clear of going into them and messing about until I've understood it. I have downloaded the manual which is quite detailed, that shows quite a lot of the function of this radio. But as I say, brand new into HF, I really don't know much about it, so it's something I'm going to have to kind of keep playing with and try and learn more as I go along. One thing that it does have is it does have the waterfall display. So now we're in the band scope, so if we press this, it now becomes the waterfall. Now the time of the waterfall, I'm not sure how many seconds it is that's showing and whether that can be changed. It's not really showing up on the display, but you can see a bit of activity there, and you can click on it as well, and you can go straight into where the activity is. So you can see the frequencies changing as I'm pressing on it, so that's quite good. I didn't know you could do that. What a difference it makes having it on an antenna. Yeah. I've been messing around with it at home and it's been absolutely terrible. Obviously not being able to hear anything. That's why we did the review at Wayne's house. Obviously he's got HF beam that we're on now. And as I say, I'm going to get a G5RV next week. So I'll be able to hopefully get some activity myself for future videos. Yeah, that speaker's not quite so bad now, really. I suppose it seemed a bit tinny before, but I've changed the bass and the treble a little bit, so it seems a little bit better. So we'll have to just keep playing with it. So we can change the waterfall back to band scope there, and you can change the magnifier as well. This is 4 times, before it was on 8 times, like that. So there seems to be quite a lot you can do with this radio. Over on this left side here is where you've got the mic gain, the RIT, you've got the volume and all those sorts of controls up this left side. That's some sort of temperature control there that makes sure it monitors the temperature as you're transmitting. As I've been transmitting, I've been watching that, and that has been going up and showing a temperature. At the moment it's not been transmitting for ages, so it's just saying off. I don't think it registers unless it's got some sort of heat going on. So here we've got the bandpass filters. You got down here 3dV, so you can change, you can click there and you've got RTTY, click it again, we've got BPSK, digital and 3dV. So if you press the mode, you can see it's changing there. Yeah, we're going AM, FM, 3dV, USB, usual things. If you keep, you'll notice that LSB is not showing because obviously it's over 10 megs, but you can override that, I think, by holding down the mode button, and then it will do the opposite. But so you can override it if you want to. So you can just press that back and it should go back to USB. So the SWR meter at the top is also the power meter as well, so you can change this to also do an ALC to prevent overdriving of the radio. You just click that, shows the SWR, and as I said earlier, if you press the tune button, it goes into TX, and then you can see the SWR there is perfect. And then you can just press the button again and it comes out. So you can monitor the SWR that way, and you can go into audio there or ALC, so you can do that. So yeah, you can see the band scope there. So if you click on here, waterfall, so we've got a nice waterfall on this radio, and you can change the zoom as well, 4 times there, and get more of it in there. So that's basically how that works. So if we go into menu, you can see all the different menus there. As I say, I'm not going to go into them. In future videos I'll look at those more closely. You can see some of the settings there, but as I say, I'm not going to go into them. We'll go on to them on a future video. So that's it. I think that's a bit of a closer look at the screen. A lot of these things you probably can change in the menus. I think you can change the colour of this SWR meter and things like that, but it's just some things that I've not come across yet. So stay tuned for future videos on that anyway. So that's a bit of a closer look at the screen. G0 HIJ QRP. Golf 0 Hotel India Juliet QRP. Golf Zero Hotel India Juliet. Golf Zero Hotel India Juliet. CQ, this is Golf Zero Hotel India Juliet. Golf Zero Hotel India Juliet, calling CQ on 20 meters. CQ, this is Golf Zero Hotel India Juliet. QRP station. Golf Zero Hotel India Juliet, calling CQ on 20 meters. CQ, this is Golf Zero Hotel India Juliet. Golf Zero Hotel India Juliet, QRP station. Calling CQ. CQ, Golf Zero Hotel India Juliet, QRP station. Calling CQ. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found that useful. That was the main review, part 2 of a series of videos on the Ailunce HS1 radio. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Just hit the subscribe button, and if you really like the video, a like would be really much appreciated as well. So I've been M6CB, you've been very kind to watch. Until the next time, 73.